Okay guys, I'm just going to show you a quick calculator hack so you can answer these questions on graphs and get full marks really easily, and later on I'll show you doing the exact same questions using substitution. So first step is get your calculator, press menu, you want to press 3 for table, so you can press equals here or press 3, okay, so menu, press 3, you get something called f of x, so that's a function of x. You want to press alpha x, use this button here to do the power cube. So I'm doing question 2 right here. Let's move across, let's do plus, we're going to do 2x squared, so alpha x squared minus 1. Press equals, ignore the g of x, so press equals. Now we're going to start on minus 3 because x is minus 3, so just type in minus 3, end that, press equals, end at 2, and it's going up in 1, so we can choose the step of 1. Press equals here, and then you can see it gives you all the answers. So when x equals minus 3, y equals minus 10, when x equals minus 2, y equals minus 1, and so forth. So you just need to fill that in. And then when x was 1, y was 2, and x was 2, y was 15. So that's 2 and 15. And 15, so we just plot those points. Minus 3, 10. Minus 2, minus 1. Minus 1, 0, 0, minus 1. Now 1 was 2, and 2 was 15. And you can see the graphs like that, and all cubics, positive cubics are this shape, negative cubics are this shape. Okay, so let's do this question with the calculator. Question 4. So let's just clear that. So go to menu, press 3 or select equals and 3, but just press 3 is fine. So you get f of x. So we're going to press alpha x e to the power side cubed plus 3 alpha x equals, ignore g of x, so we're going to start at minus 2, end at equals, sorry, end at 2, press equals in the step, it's going up in 1, so that's perfect. Now it's done that for us. We can check it's correct. Minus 2 is minus 14, minus 2 minus 14, minus 1 is minus 4, and 1 is 4, and 2 is 14. So we just need to fill that in. We filled those figures in, and we just need to plot that. I'll just say I'll plot all of them, all the points. Minus 2, 14, minus 1, 4. Always double check the scale. 0, 0, 1 and 4, 2 and 14. So that is going to be something like that. Now you can double check if we go back, let's do that again, just to make sure we've got the shape correct. Because we can start at -2, end at 2, and change the step to 0.5 so we can exactly see what's going on. And that is if you compare the values, that is a decent graph. Okay, let's have a look at these questions on MathsWatch because it does test your thinking skills. So, if you can remember my examples, a cubic function graph normally looks like that if it's got a positive x cubed term in it, and it's the opposite direction if it's a negative x cubed type function. So if it's a -3x cubed, etc. So C, you know that's a straight line graph. It should look like something like y equals mx plus c, correct? This u, you should know it's an x squared quadratic type. That's a type of quadratic as well. This you'll learn later, it's an exponential. This, hopefully you know, is a negative quadratic. So once you can spot the others, you know D must be the cubic because it's that shape here. That will be the correct answer. Now, this one, match each of the equations with their corresponding graph. Well, we haven't done this yet. That's for later. I'm going to tell you that is B. That's a reciprocal type graph. So let's see. Can you see the highest power here, and it's positive, is the 2x squared? And you can see the -3, well that's got to be the y-intercept for this. So that has to be A. 2 is A. Now, can you see the highest power is 3 here, and it's a negative x cubed. So for my example before, that has to be D because of the shape of it. So A must go to E because that's a cubic as well. The highest power is a cube, so that makes that a cubic, and that one's done. Now you should be good at that. That's a substitution, right? So if I give you this coordinate 2, 8, is this a point that lies in the curve? Well, that's the x coordinate and y coordinate. Let's substitute that into y equals x cubed. Does it work? 1x equals 2 is y equals 8. So let's do 2 cubed. What does 2 cubed equal? 2 times 2 times 2. Remember that? The common mistake people say it's 6. It's not 6. That's adding the 2 together. And so 8 equals 8. So this must lie in the curve. So -1 cubed. So when x equals -1, what's -1 cubed, guys? That is -1. So does y equal -1? Well, it doesn't because y equals 1 here. So that can't be right. So all you need to do is, and it does say points here, which is plural, so it's got to be 2 answers. So let's try y equals x cubed for 1/3. So y equals 1/3 cubed. Well, that is the same as 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3 3 times. It's called cubed because if you look at the volume of a cube, will be, that's cubed, you times all 3 numbers, but that actually equals 1 in 27, so that is wrong. So let's see, I know -2 cubed equals -8, so it can't be that one. So they've said points, but it can only be this one, because -1/2 times -1/2 times -1/2. So what you're doing here, guys, is letting x equal -1/2. cubing it, does it equal this value here? Yes, so minus a half times minus a half times minus a half. Y does equal minus 1 over 8, which you can see. So this answer must be D. Okay, so this is just your substitution skills, guys. So let's just start with x equals 2. So y equals x cubed plus x squared minus 6x. So that's going to be y equals 2 cubed plus 2 squared minus 6 times 2. So work out each term by term. So that's 8 plus 4. What's 6 times 2? 12. So it's minus 12. And you should know that equals 0. So when x equals 1, I'm going to speed up here. Y equals 1 cubed plus 1 squared minus 6 times 1. That's going to be 1 plus 1 minus 6. Negative times a positive is a negative. So y equals minus 4. So let's do y equals minus 1, x equals minus 1 now. So it's minus 1 cubed plus minus 1 squared minus 6 times minus 1. So that's going to be y equals minus 1 plus 1 because you're squaring a negative. Now it says minus 6 times minus 1, but what's a negative times a negative? It's a positive. So that changes that to a plus 6. So minus 1 plus 1 is actually 0, and then plus 6, so y equals 6. 3 cubed now. So when x equals minus 3 cubed is minus 27. Plus x squared, so minus 3 plus minus 3 times minus 3 is 9, and minus 3 times minus 6 is 18, and that's what I mean by working out each term by each term. So y is going to be 0 here. Hence solve the equation when that equals 0. Well, can you notice that y has swapped with this 0? So when is y 0 here? Well, that's minus 3. Minus 1, they said to write in this format, so I'm going to follow that format. Well, not minus 1, I mean 0 and 2, and that should be the correct answer. Now this will be on a non-calc, but it could be on a calc paper, but it's not too difficult. They've given you the whole numbers. So let's try x equals 4 first. So you've got y equals a quarter times 4 cubed minus 4 squared plus 2, and x is 4 in this case. So what's 4 times 4 times 4? 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So a quarter times 64 minus 4 squared is 16 plus 2. So what's a quarter of 64? If you can't do that, just use your bus stop. That's 1, 4 goes into 6, remainder 2, falls into 24 is 16. So you're going to get 16 minus 16 plus 2. Now you've got to remember that this bit is it's minus x squared, but x is 4, so the minus stays on the outside. That doesn't become minus 4 squared. That's the important tip you need to know for that. So that equals 2. Y equals 2 when x equals 4. So when x equals 1, well, that's going to be easy, because you're going to get y equals, well, a quarter times 1 is a quarter, right? Because 1 cubed is 1. So you're going to get a quarter minus 1 plus 2. So you're going to get y equals, now what's this? You've got 2 quarters minus 1, right? Together. So what's 2 quarters minus 1? Equals 1 and 1 quarter, which you should know is 1.25. So that is 1.25. So am I going to run out of space? I'm going to use this space up here for this. So when x equals minus 1, y is going to be a quarter times minus 1 cubed, which is times minus 1. Now it's minus 1 squared plus 2 staying constant. I've never seen a question like this in an exam, because normally they don't make it this difficult, because lots of students will make mistakes on this. So this could appear on a calculator if it did appear. So quarter times minus 1 is minus a quarter. Now you've got minus 1 squared, which is plus 1, but you've still got the minus sign here. So you've got minus plus 1, which you know makes a minus, and then plus 2. So you've got y equals minus 1.25 plus 2. So y equals 0.75 here. And let's just do the last one, x equals minus 2. So y is going to equal minus 2 cubed is minus 8 times the quarter from before, minus, what's minus 2 squared, guys? That's 4, so it's minus 4 plus 2. What's a quarter of minus 8? Well, that's got to be minus 2. That's what this becomes here. So that's minus 6 plus 2, so y equals minus 4. That's minus 4. And that will get you 2 marks. Never seen a question like this on the exam before, but this is good to push you, because if you can do these types of questions, you can answer any cubic graph. So it's guaranteed marks in your pocket. So it says, which of A, B or C is the correct curve for y for, well, what we've just substituted? Well, you've got these values here, so you just try to match it up. That's the easiest way. You've got 0, 2 here. That matches that. Well, 0, 2 is here, so it cannot be that graph. Okay? You've got 0, 2. That's perfect. Let's choose another point. What's the point 3 here? That's up there. Well, that looks nowhere near what y equals minus 0.25 as shown here, right? That coordinate is 3. So the only one we can look at it when x equals 3. Does that look about minus 0.25 for y? Yes, it does. So that answer is clearly A. So it says estimate, this question, the coordinates, the x coordinates of the turning points of the graph. And this is a graph here and it's shown. What are the turning points? Well, those are the same as the maximum or local maximum and minimum points. So what do you think that is? Just write that coordinate down. So I think that's each square is 0.2. So I think that's minus 1.8. And it says a comma between your answers. And x equals, now that is either 1.2 or 1.1. It's sort of halfway. But I think that is minus 1.2. I mean 1.2. X equals 1.2 there. Use the graph to find the solution. Well, I did say, if you remember, the solutions is the roots. That's extra information, so you've got to remember the terminology, because if you do not know what it's asking for, then you can't answer the question. So that means, can you see that 0 is where y is? So y equals 0 is this line here. So what's that coordinate? Minus 3. And that's a root as well, because cubics can have 3 roots, up to 3 roots. So that answer must be minus 3, 0, and 2. Those are the x values when y equals 0. Now, I hope that makes sense, and that's going to run you through the homework. This is more challenging than normal, but it's quite a high level skill. This would be a grade 6 In the past, this would have been grade 6 plus. I'll give this 5 plus to 6 now.